Hello, welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching the Junji Ito Collection, episode 12. So, this is the final episode for this anime. I don't know if they'll do a second season or not. It's hard to tell what anime are going to get another season, especially if it's not something like My Hero Academia or something shonen like that. So last episode, the first section, which lasted most of the episode, actually dealt with a transfer student who was into looking for like mysterious things, paranormal type activity, monsters, things like that, and actually joined the school. I guess it was like a paranormal club where they did that. They looked for stuff like that. However, they didn't realize they had the weirdest thing right in front of them, as this transfer student seemed to be able to bring out weird paranormal type things whenever he wanted. After they had invited him to join the paranormal club, he's going to walk away, and he goes, "Oh, look at this!" And he pulls out a flower that's got an eyeball. Later, when they're in the club room, or I think it was maybe the next day, he tells them that he found a waterfall by the back of the school. And they're like, "That can't be possible. We go by there all the time, and there's never a waterfall." And he goes, "Come on, I'll show you." Go over there, and there's a waterfall. Then he's talking. Oh, one of the students in the club was actually going to be on TV because he was able to bend spoons. It's supposedly with his mind, but it's a trick. I forget how it's done, but they were going to have him on TV to show off this trick, but the transfer student actually did it as well, so he figured he needed to do something a little more impressive. Now going back to the waterfall, he tells them that by going underneath the waterfall, you would get like a special power. And he showed off something. It fired off some kind of blast or something, which gave the other guy the idea of, okay, well, I'll come back here, go under the waterfall, and get a power, and then I'll show that on TV. He never came back. He disappeared. Then the student comes back. Not the student, the transfer student, and is telling him that he's found some lake over in this other area. They go over there, and this whole like huge lake had taken over what was once a housing area. Not only that, but it had a dinosaur living in it. Then all the girls were hanging out at one of their houses, talking about what was going on. And they get, I think it's like a knock on the door, or like a doorbell was ringing. And it was, I don't remember the names of these people. It's hard to remember the names of all these people when they're only in like one episode. But one of the girls goes downstairs to answer the door. I believe it was the one whose house it was. And the person at the door is saying that it's the student that disappeared a few days earlier. So she answers the door, and he's all bloated and has like foam coming out of his mouth because he's dead. He drowned. But he's got a special power now. The girls end up running and find one of the other guys. Not only do they find him, but they find, I think they're like, God, I can't remember what they were. They're like those big stone heads in that one country. God, what the heck are those things called? these things. What are they called? Get that off the screen really quick. The Easter Island heads, yeah. They were just in the middle of like the street, like lined up. And the transfer student was like, "Look at this! Look what I found!" And it's like, "Well, where did they come from?" Anyway, they're like, "No time to worry about that. This dude came back and he's trying to kill us." And the other student is like, "What?" And then he shows up and he's shooting beams at him. The other student jumps up into the air and hits him with a beam and ends up killing him again. Because apparently, after the transfer student had told them about the powers they can get from going under the waterfall, the other guy wanted to go under there to get a power so he could show on TV. But this student, his friend, the other one in the club, pushed him in the area where the water was going and went under the waterfall himself. And then after they kill that guy again, he's telling the transfer student, I kind of like this world that you're creating. Why don't we, get together and start creating a lot of really cool stuff? And the transfer student's like, no, I don't like that idea. And then he just leaves. Like the whole school, the city. He's gone, and everything goes back to normal. And the other student left too. He disappeared as well. Everybody is assuming that he left to go find that transfer student. And that's where that one ends. Not scary or anything. But it was a good episode. And the last part, which I think was only like 5 minutes or something, maybe 8 minutes. Apparently this guy's daughter passed away. And I guess it was her fiance had come by to drop off some flowers, and he was angry at him because he's yelling, saying that he's the one that got her killed. They never actually say what happened, but he's going on about how he got her killed, and he knocks him down and then storms off. I believe he put a scarecrow into her grave, saying that was supposed to keep him away. When he comes back the next day, the scarecrow has her face, and it actually looks like it's wearing her clothes now. When he takes it out of the ground, it goes back to a normal scarecrow, but once it goes back into her grave, it turns back into like a replica of her, almost. Only made out of straw. When everybody else sees this, they start putting scarecrows in the graves of their family members as well. One wife was putting a scarecrow into the ground for her husband, and the guy that was with her was saying not to do it. But she did anyway. He ended up, giving in, letting her do it. I mean, it's not really his choice anyway. And the scarecrow ends up killing him. He ends up falling, like, it causes him to fall over, and he hits his head on one of the tombstones, killing him. And she basically figured that happened because it was his fault that he died. The fiance for that one girl comes back to the grave to see the scarecrow and is trying to talk to her. And for some reason, I guess he fell asleep at the graveyard, and he wakes up. I think he actually went home, and he just somehow wound up in the graveyard, because he looked confused as to why he was there, and he was in his pajamas, like his sleep clothes. And he sees the scarecrow looking at him, and he starts freaking out. and running off, but the Scarecrow is like following him and ends up killing him too. And then the dad comes back to, visit the grave, and he sees what's happened. And he just leaves the Scarecrow on top of him and just leaves. And that's how that one ended. Neither of the stories were really scary. But they were good. Now, this is the final episode. I don't know what they're going to have in store for us here. If they saved the scariest ones for last, or if something else is going to happen, I'm not sure. But let's get into this and see what's going to happen. So the video is going to be located over here, and the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. There we go. Alright. And we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.